Good evening, everyone. This is Erin Chase, along with my partners in crime, Tony Anderson and Andrea Deckard. We are the trio behind Digital CoLab and our upcoming event in June in San Diego, where we will meet and greet and do all kinds of amazing things together in bringing our, moving forward in our blogs, earning more money, growing them as businesses, expanding our reach, and all of those things. So you don't want to miss that. And we tonight are going to be talking about revenue diversification, what that means, how you can diversify your revenue. It sounds pretty simple, but just different companies you can work with, different ways that you can add little snippets here and there to increase your revenue through diversification, as well as how to analyze each of the revenue sources and so that you can then optimize them and in turn make more money. Sound like a good plan? Awesome. So one of the things that I was just going to do tonight, and I think the other girls can talk maybe at a higher level, because I have this all broken out into a spreadsheet, talk at a higher level of how they diversify their revenue. Would one of you guys want to talk about just something you've done in the very recent past that's been successful before we get into the nitty-gritty of my numbers from this past month? Crickets. I know one of y'all has done something in the recent past to diversify your revenue, whether it's mobile ads or launching a new product or becoming an affiliate for a new product that you thought would be a good fit for your audience.
I actually did something a little different. I took ads off my site. So I guess I don't know. That might not be diversification, but sometimes I think when you have a site that's really ad heavy, you can diminish some of the clicks that you would get on networks that you get paid per click, like AdSense or something like Contera or Chitika, or can't think of who Contera's competitor is. But anyway, I removed some of the ads and some of the more intrusive, like reskins and things like that. Even though some of those pay well, I felt like they were taking away from, some other revenue streams that I have, which would have been affiliate links and sales, as well as, ads that I wanted people to actually click on, as opposed to just display. So I'm actually testing that out this year. We started at the beginning of the year and have been testing it out for the past couple months, and just trying to see if we see an increase in some of the other types of revenue on the site because of it. I did notice this month that my Chitika earnings doubled from the last month. So I'm not sure if I can attribute that directly to making that change, but we're just definitely tracking. I mean, we track everything every month anyway, but just really paying attention to how that's affecting the entire site and the revenue, and if it's allowing other channels to increase because I pulled back on this channel.
I think, the reason I didn't really have a lot to share is because I think I've tried so many things over, the past 6 years in general, but probably the biggest change I'm going to make is going to be coming soon when my site design is finally finished, and I just keep dragging my feet there. But I'm changing things up quite a bit with content, with ad placement, removing even more, like Tony mentioned, just because, I don't know, I think there's a good logic to test out the hypotheses that you would make more money. And so Tony's obviously doing it, and I was kind of thinking to do it. But I also just want to streamline because, I'm streamlining my business a lot this year, and I just want to do things smarter, and I think that's one of the things I can do smarter, to figure out where are, even the passive income. Ads, a lot of people would say it's passive. Where's the majority of that income coming from? And if it's coming from one network or two networks, then maybe I can work more exclusively with them to do even more stuff. So that's something that's really to be determined still for me.
And I think too, and we talked about a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago when we talked about the bookkeeping and accounting, but just keeping really good records of all of your different revenue streams. I use a spreadsheet broken down by basically client and month, so that I can tell that this client in this month every year earns a great amount of revenue, but if I promote that same thing, if it's an affiliate link or maybe it's something through Amazon, it doesn't do very well, so maybe it's not worth the space on my site. So I think if you are thinking about diversifying your revenue, or you're already doing it and you're interested in, really doing the type of testing that we like to do, if you're not tracking all of that individually, it's great to say like, oh, this month I made $500, and in December I made $2,000, and in July I made $4,000. But if you don't know where all that's coming from, and you don't know why you're making that kind of money, and what where those different streams are, if it's not really well tracked, it doesn't really help you. Even down to like sponsored content, which I do a lot of on my site, is if I worked for a company in every December on some sort of a holiday post, maybe it's baking or something like that, why not reach out to that company the next October and say, hey, we work together every Christmas. Do you have anything coming up? I'd love to participate. By the way, remember what I did for you last year. But using some sort of, and I just happen to use, I like Google Docs or Drive. That works for me. But having some sort of a system to actually track that, or you're really just wasting your time.
Right, and I think it goes, you can track all of this in a bookkeeping software, whatever that may be for you, but I think it goes further when you get it into a spreadsheet and you really look at it from one month to another. Maybe that's just my personal preference. Tony, you said Google Docs, and that's what I use as well. You can look and you can see, you can compare month to month on a specific, income line and see, okay, how much was this compared to last month? And see it when you see it all together in one shot. And maybe you are using your P&L statements, or your whatever statement you want to use from your bookkeeping software, but just paying attention to it. I think that's the key. So how do you build that? You create a spreadsheet, and this is how I manage it every month. As soon as I see once a week I check the bank statements, and my husband's already doing the bookkeeping anyways. This is me doing this for myself to make sure that I'm optimizing each channel that I can. So looking at when I get a PayPal notice from Chitika, let's say, or I get a PayPal notice from Kintera. I'm trying to think of who I get. So as soon as that comes in, I mark it in my spreadsheet, and then I file that email away. And then there are certain ones that get directly deposited into the bank. So once a week I'll go and check there and say, okay, my Federated Media payment came in. I put that in there. I see that I get a check from Brandcaster. So they're coming in all different forms, right? So keeping track of that, and then being able to look a few months past. Is there something I did in February? Was I testing Brandcaster links versus Escalate links? We've all done that before, right? It's going to look different for everybody on everybody's site. Maybe, I don't know why or for what reason. But whatever works for you, that's what you can use this information to track and say, what should I be doing differently? What should I be testing next month? Kind of to Andrea's point, we've all been, tweaking and testing this over the last, many years, and who knows what works right now is not what worked 2 years ago, and what works now is not going to work in 2 years from now. So it's it's kind of that game, but when you're tracking and following along with what your income is each month, and seeing it grow, hopefully, as your audience grows, and you do all of those other marketing and growth, community growth things you have to do, in turn your revenue will increase. So everybody's model is going to be different. I know for Andrea, she is heavy on AdSense, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going to throw this out there just from the conversations we've had in the past, but her model is very different from mine. Her model is heavier in the coupon prints, heavier in AdSense and in ad network, and affiliate marketing in general through all kinds of different affiliate marketing platforms, whether it's share sale or flex offers or link share, all of those different ones. I have a handful of those, but I don't use them well, and I shouldn't say that. I do use them well once a year, and that's at the holidays. So I see a chunk from those, companies and those affiliate marketing companies at the beginning of the year, and then that fades away into the year until, the next year. And then, my model is also very ad network heavy and sponsored post heavy, and I see a much smaller revenue percentage from affiliate coupon printing, and some of these other Kintera and Chitika. That's a smaller piece of my income puzzle. And I know for Tony, she does a lot of sponsored posts, as well as ebook sales has been really successful for her. She's an affiliate for many, many different ebooks that are out there, and her audience just really seems to enjoy the ebooks, and she's had really great success, optimizing that particular revenue stream. So I think you just kind of have to test and see. Everybody's audience is going to be different. So testing and see what works for you. Do you guys have any other thoughts on that concept? I'm sorry, I'm speaking for your business models here.
That's great. Will you just take it over for me?
Yeah.
I think something to think about too is a lot of times I think when we think about diversification, we talk about posts that are things that are going to happen on our site. So what's our plan for April? What's our plan for September of this year? But something that I think we often forget about is looking backwards as far as how can I diversify revenue on old content. So, and I know we've talked about a lot about this like with affiliate marketing. If you have a post that ranks really high I have a post that ranks really high for how to mend holes in blue jeans, which, seems kind of random, but, about 7 or 8 months ago, we sort of noticed this, that, hey, this post is really popular. We put on an affiliate link for those patches that you sew on, we iron on the jeans, and we make a little bit of money every month from this affiliate link for patches. But if you go back and find 50 posts on your site that are popular and are still getting traffic, analyze how those posts, it might be affiliate. I have a popular chore post, and we ended up using that My Job chart. I think it's through Escalate. We're one of the top Escalate affiliates for that affiliate link because my readers, people are coming to my site via search for chores. So it could be that they're landing via search. It could be a popular post on Pinterest. It could be that you want to link to an ingredient. It could be that you could find a link to a coupon. It could be something like an ebook or a product. Or even putting a higher performing ad on that site. I think all of those things, it's always important to look forward and think about what you're planning for in the future, but I think it's really important to look back and see what already is working as far as content and then maximizing the earnings on those pieces of content.
I think that's really, really key, and I think that it's looking at what else you can do to maximize, as you said, high traffic posts. I know for me, the Costco post, I remember we were about 3 days, it was 2 days in to that thing going viral, and it was 2 days in because I didn't know it had gone viral. I was completely offline on a Saturday when it went viral. Anyways, you guys probably remember, I was scrambling to get that post optimized more, and we switched to a paid printable because I was going to basically lose money in the hosting costs that it was going to cost me to have that there in the millions of people who saw that post that weekend. It was going to cost me a lot of money. So that's one of the reasons I did that, and I'm glad I did. Because now that's a product that I have. It takes me hours and hours and hours, me and Jen, who helps me as well, to pull those posts together. And so at least now I have, an income and a revenue stream to offset those costs of hosting as well as the time in putting them together. So I think that that's another point too. Is there something? Do you have something that is highly trafficked that you could turn into a product? Could you, your printable, could you use that freebie and then, as you said, with the My Job chart, but is there something else you could have offered? Could you have offered an ebook for sale for $2.99 or something like that on that post? So it's looking at ways to continue to optimize, those existing things and old things as well. That was a rough, I think we were trying to eat dinner that night. I think that was one of the few times in the year that I will work through dinner trying to get that all pulled together. So anyways, so I wanted to, do you guys have any other thoughts before I jump into the breakdown of my last month?
Well, I think that's something people are always asking, what can I have a VA do for my site? Doing that old post revenue diversification is a great job for a VA. They can go in your Google Analytics, they can pull your top 50 posts, they can, if they're, I figure if you're hiring quality people, which I feel like we all are trying to hire quality people or have quality people, they can figure out what sort of, revenue stream you want on those posts. And if, a lot of VAs already have access to a lot of our links and things like that in our accounts, so that's a great job that you can have someone else do for you, even if you create the sort of the plan for them to get going. It's definitely something that you can hire out to do for probably a lot less money than for you to take the time when you could be creating content or working on future planning or doing things like that. So that, to me, is a great job for someone who's helping you with a site.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. That if you can identify the top, pieces of content and pass that off, so that you can focus on new content or a new product development, whatever that may be, ebook, printable, package of printables that you have, whatever it is that you have to offer, you can focus on that and let someone else help you optimize that old content. So let's jump into this breakdown that I have. I'm just going to run through my income and expenses from last month. I'm just going to put this out there, and I want I've been doing this for almost 6 years. Let me disclaim that. So I'm not a new blogger. I am running on about 500,000 page views a month. My viral post month was a little bit unusual, but I average about 500,000 to 600,000 page views a month. So that's the traffic level that I'm at. And I also wanted to share that Tony was at the Type A conference. Is it Type A Parent, I guess, this past weekend, the one-day event in Orlando, and they did a survey, and the survey showed of the bloggers that filled it out who were in attendance, the average, 13% made more than $2,000 a month. So keep that in mind when you hear these numbers. And this is me sticking my neck out there. I'm also going to share this in more detail, all of my Q1 stats in an email blog post next week, so you'll get to actually see a breakdown. I will break down the income. I'm not going to break down the expenses just because I don't want to disclose what other people are earning who I work with. So for income, I shared that I was heavy on ad network and sponsored content. So for last month, my ad network payout was $5,992, and my sponsored post payout, this is from multiple sponsored posts, was $4,500. My coupon printing between two platforms was $1,500, and between AdSense was $600, Impact Radius, which is a spillover from holiday, I believe, from December, was $400 and something. And then Katera, Chitika, Legit, kind of some of these smaller little pieces that pull together, that was almost $1,000 combined. So my total income, and then there's some other smaller ones. I run gourmet ads as a pass back on one of my other, my food allergies website. And I made about, I think it was about $600 in printables. I need to go and update that from the bank transfer. Anyways, so my total earnings for last month was $15,216. So that's significantly higher than the 13% at 2,000, which is amazing. And I think it's a testimony to a couple of things: the time I've been doing it, the diversification that I have set up, as well as a little bit of spillover from the holiday income, as well as the viral post that went viral in January. And then as far as expenses go, I have Jen is my virtual assistant. I have a tech help. My hosting costs are $250 a month. We have a couple of, my husband plays with AdWords, and when I say plays with AdWords, I mean he spends like $30 a month, but it's still an expense. It doesn't really drive a lot of traffic, and we're not trying to really compete or buy anything from anybody. I think it's just his little way of keeping his hand in that side of things and just experimenting with it all. That makes me laugh. I did spend several $100s in publicity support, and one of the huge wins from that was my publicist was able to get me on the Rachel Ray Show in February, so that's well worth the expense. And then just travel expenses, and I do buy a little bit of my groceries that I expense when I'm doing a specific blog post or content for a sponsor or recipe for a sponsored campaign. And then I have some other really small incremental costs for if I'm shipping books to somebody who emails me for a PTA fundraiser, that kind of thing. So just some small little pockets. So my total income for everybody was almost $3,000. So I netted a little bit over $12,000 last month. So that's my blog income, which I'm just sharing to share. I'm not trying to, I'm being humble and putting my neck out here. But I think it just goes to show that when you have things, well optimized, you can really make a lot of money. So, and that's not a huge traffic level, $500,000 a month. I mean, that's a lot, but it's not, big dog, right? Can we go there? So I'll just share a little bit about how obviously the ad network I have, I work with Federated Media. That's all the ads that you see on the site. Escalate Network is a combination of coupon prints. It's mostly coupon prints, as well as a couple other smaller, if there's a free restaurants, appetizer, those kinds of things. I promote a few of those a couple times a month. The sponsored posts obviously are coming from companies, Brandcasters, coupons, AdSense, Impact Radius. Contera is it adds links into your content. And I also actually run, Contera has an additional product that runs on a mobile site where if someone pulls up your site on mobile, there's a little flag in the bottom corner and you can lift it up and there's an ad that takes over underneath of your site. I think it's called a layover or lay under maybe. But anyways, that's been really lucrative for me because I get so much mobile traffic from Pinterest and Facebook. I also have a second mobile ad that pops over on top overlay that these two ads don't compete with each other because they're in different places through Chitika. And then I run Legit as a passback, one of the two passbacks for Federated Media. So behind Federated, I run Google AdSense and Legit. And then I do have one line for ads that I run in my newsletter feed, and then a couple between My Savings and Flex Offers and Share a Sale. Those are all kind of those affiliate companies and Commission Junction as well. So that's kind of a breakdown of what I have running in different places. So
Erin, what was the split? So like the percentage split from basically your advertising versus affiliate?
So my model is much heavier on ads and sponsored content. So if I do ads and sponsored content, that's probably 2/3.
Okay.
Maybe 3/4. Maybe 80%. Look at me trying to add this all up real quickly here.
Also,
the affiliate stuff, it's a lot. There are more streams of them, but they're smaller chunks, right? So it's $200 here, $100 here, $400 here, but you put all those together and you get, 20, 30%. So
Erin,
that's my model, and that's why I was saying how everybody's model is different. Mine is heavy on ad network and sponsored content because I have a decent traffic level.
Right.
And then the affiliate stuff, I've not been known, and I've tried, in the past I tried to do Ebates. I tried to promote Ebate years ago. Just did not work for my site. And I don't know why. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't think I did anything wrong in promoting it. Just didn't work. The next week I tried diapers.com, practically blew up my website, right? So earned a lot of money from it in a very short amount of time. Back when the site was much smaller. So, it's just, you can't know, what's going to do well and what's going to convert. And I think maybe you can talk about this too a little bit more, Andrea. How do you know, when I don't post many deals, really only during Black Friday week, right? So when you're consistently posting deals, how do you judge what to post and when to post and how hard to promote that post across social media and whatnot? Do you have any recommendations or guidelines that you use for yourself in that?
I guess something that I've done every year is I'll go back and look at the different affiliate companies I'm a member of, and I just analyze where's the majority of my income coming from. Since they're lumped in together like CJ's Share Sale, I just do a quick analysis to see, am I getting a lot of money from magazines, which I do actually sell quite a few magazine subscriptions. So I've also made the bold decision to say, you know what, I might make, in a year, let's say like $500 on one certain offer from a company, and I just feel like, you know what, that's $500 I'm willing to lose in order to focus my attention somewhere else, because I'm spending, time for somebody to post that stuff or whatever. If it's passive, if it's in an old post, that's one thing, but if it's something that I'm actively trying to continue to promote offers from different affiliate companies, I'll let that go because the margin's not good enough for me. With regards to social promotion, I actually have something on my calendar where everybody knows, probably, especially everybody listening, about the Capital 360 bank offer. That's actually a very lucrative offer. If you post that, it's a great win for your readers because they can get a bonus for opening up a checking account, and then you get a really nice lead conversion for that. So what I do for offers like that I know that are just ongoing and I want to keep it in front of their eyes, I actually put it on my calendar. So I have several different editorial calendars in Gmail. So my Gmail calendar has different tasks that people that work with me, we each are responsible for. And so I just keep like a running list of some of those offers and try to offset them. So let's say the first of the month, you might see me posting about the Capital One 360 thing, but you won't see me doing that again until maybe like the second month and the fourth week of the month. So I just try to alternate that with other offers that are just regular and ongoing. So I'm still mentioning it. It's still getting posted on the site. And then I also just have my what I'll call evergreen deal posts like that I will just re-socialize on the different networks too, just to put it back in everyone's eyes so they can see it, and that always gets me a few more leads as well. So those are just some of the things that I've done to figure out what is working best for me. The reader surveys, I can't encourage that or recommend that enough because that's where I've gotten a lot of the feedback for people. If I know that none of my readers have girls, I'm not going to post girly stuff. And there was actually an offer today I thought was a really good deal. And it was on Amazon. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a baby toy or something, and I didn't post it because I know a lot of my readers don't have as many little ones as maybe I think the older kids. They have more older kids, and so that kind of stuff sells better for me. So I just didn't even put it out there. And that kind of goes back to, if you're in the deal or the frugal niche, you can't post every single thing. And so that's kind of like my permission to myself to post what they want, because that's what's going to convert better versus trying to post everything and be everything to everybody and then make nothing.
I think too, Andrea, something that you said, and I think this is really important if you do have people working for you, is, I used to ask, because Jen works for me too, we do very few deals and affiliate type coupon offers, but we do post probably 2 a week. And I wanted to know how long it took her to create those posts for me, because if I paid her more than I made on that post, then it didn't really matter how great of a deal it was. It wasn't a good business decision for me. And chances are, if she was costing me more than I made, then my readers didn't really like it anyway, because she's pretty fast. And I think for people that have VAs posting deals for them on a daily basis, to just ask them, hey, how much of your time is spent doing this type of post, and how much time is spent, doing these coupon roundups, and if they can say, this takes me 10 minutes, and you're going to make 30 or 40 bucks off the post, then it's very much worth it. But if they say, well, this post takes me an hour, and you realize you're making $5 off that post, then you're actually losing money to put some of that stuff up on your site. And so I think that's good. And think about it for yourself too. I mean, how much time are you spending? And sometimes in the beginning, if you're just starting out, you have more time than money, so it might be worth it for you to put some of those things up to test and see how they're performing for you. But I think it's really important to just track the time that either you or your assistant spends on putting some of these deals or any posts that you're hoping to make direct money off of. So an affiliate or one of those survey posts or link posts where people second page submit, get paid 50 cents kind of thing. Really track the time it takes to put those up. And sometimes they're really fast and you can make a good amount of money on them, and sometimes they're not. And so that's something to consider as well. And one thing, Erin, you didn't mention was your own products. You have cookbooks, but we know a lot of people who have e-products, or we know a lot of bloggers with books, right, in the bookstore. And I think honestly, we all spend a lot of time on this, and I think we should all be carving out time to be creating a product or products. It depends on what you're writing about as to what you want to create, whether it's a course, a book, podcasts, but the nice thing, and I don't know if everybody knows Laura from Heavenly Homemakers, but if you've ever been to her site, she has a store, and she probably has 60 products in that store. And I remember talking to her about it about a year and a half ago, and she's doing very well. Her husband, works with her on the site, and she said, yeah, and whenever revenue's down on other things, we just have a sale in the ebook store. And they're basically able to drive revenue through their own products every month. And that's one thing that you really have a large amount of control over because you own the product. And I know Erin's products are a little bit different because they're actually sold at the bookstores and Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. But I would say that we spend a lot of time on this. We need to be thinking about how we can spend time creating our own products as well, because then we can truly diversify into even using those products and to create a platform to get us on Rachel Ray. So that's another thing to think about when you're diversifying.
Yeah, I think you guys have hit on two really great points. One is active revenue streams versus passive revenue streams. Andrea touched on this a minute ago. I think that that's really important, and we've talked about going back and optimizing old things, putting out in front of people that bank offer that Andrea mentioned, getting that's a current offer, but you're actively promoting that still. So looking at the difference and taking the time, going back to Tony's point about time, like set up templates for the Chili's appetizer post. It's the same thing every time. All you have to do is put in the new code for the creative, right, and the link. But it's the same thing, just change one sentence, and you can have a post up in 35 seconds, right, assuming your site's loading quickly, which mine doesn't always. But you can optimize. I have a post, Amazon gluten-free product template post on my food allergies site. We have one on $5 dinners that we can then literally have an Amazon product post put together in 2 minutes, right? It's the longest time that it takes is downloading the image and re-uploading the image into our media library. Like, that's what takes the longest, right? So that's, think about, if you don't have time to have someone help you, or don't have the revenue yet to have to have someone help you with the posting, optimize, be smarter with your time. That's kind of the buzz phrase right now, work smarter, not harder. So be thinking about those things as well, just to help you continue to diversify and grow your income. Another key piece to this is you have to have an audience to grow your income, right? So you need to be at the same time doing all of those things that we all know with SEO optimization and content marketing, social media marketing, all of those things to get your content out there so that you can have more of an audience for when you do have that ebook sale or the printable sale or whatever it may be, that you do, you can earn a good chunk of change and hit your income marks for that month or that quarter. So do you guys have any other thoughts on revenue diversification before we close this one up?
I think, I wish I would have taken a picture of the survey that Kelby shared with us on Saturday, but out of that, I think there were like 300 bloggers that filled out the survey, and 13% were making over 2,000. I think 5 or 6% were over between the 1,000 and 2,000. But there were a lot of bloggers out there that considered themselves professional bloggers that weren't making any money yet. And so, I know that we don't have a ton of newbie bloggers in our community, but I know there's people out there that are still maybe in their first year, they're getting started. And I would say, just like Erin said, work on the traffic. Work on building your content, branding yourself. That was what this event was about on Saturday. It was all about branding and working with brands. And I think you have to create your own voice, create your own brand, and develop that loyal audience before you really start jumping into, comprehensive and complex, business models for how your site's going to make money. Because if you don't necessarily have a brand yet, it's pretty hard to monetize a non-brand. So I think that's just something to think about if you, hear Erin's numbers. And I think, for those of us that have been doing this a long time, we've all had months like Erin's where, you know, we just knock it out of the park. Maybe it's, you know, Christmas time or back to school, or, you know, summer and your, you know, lemonade cake goes viral. But I think, you know, we've all had times like that, and I think the important thing is, you know, not only revenue diversification, but, you know, having those power months to get you through the months where, you know, you don't make any money, and the months where your expenses are really close to your income. And so, you know, knowing what months are going to make you money as well, and not getting discouraged when, you know, you are in kind of a dry period, because a lot of times, just like stores are cyclical, you know, Amazon probably makes a lot more money at Christmas time than it does the rest of the year. You know, blogs can be the same way, and so maybe you have to understand that your site is just going to have more traffic and make more money during certain months of the year, and then you plan for that.
Yes, that is indeed one of the. Go ahead, Andrea.
That would actually be another good chat topic for. I know somebody asked about, you know, how you work with a VA, and to go along with that is like how you budget for the VA, because it is cyclical, and just making sure that you have the funds to cover the VA, even if you are having a low month. So, and how you could scale back and that kind of stuff. So maybe we could talk about that one in a future one. I know Chris will probably discuss that in his elective that he's doing too, but just sharing our experience might be helpful.
Agreed. All right, so did we check for any questions anywhere?
I didn't see any. How you work with a VA, and to go along with that is like how you budget for the VA, because it is cyclical, making sure that you have the funds to cover the VA.
Talking to us, Tony.
You are having a low month.
So why don't we, if we didn't see any questions, is that right?
No, I was just checking YouTube, but there's some comments, but no questions.
Okay, awesome. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I hope that this has been helpful. I want, you know, in all humility, I shared my numbers. Though that is almost the highest month I've ever had, and in projections for the next couple months, they will be equally as high, which is both amazing and humbling and a huge blessing to me and to our family. But I want you to be encouraged by them. That these are things, these are numbers to work towards. Maybe you're already over them, which is amazing if you are. But I also shared it so that you could see kind of the breakdown and percentage of my model, which might be similar to yours, or maybe it's completely flipped backwards. So you're more focused on the affiliate stuff and less on the ad network and sponsored campaign content. So I think that with that, we will wrap this one up, and I will, as I said, I will share a more specific breakdown of numbers from January, February, and March, which those are all should be coming in, I guess, today and tomorrow. There's still a couple holes in my spreadsheet for March, but we'll get those in there and share that with you guys next week on the blog and the email. Find us in Facebook. We are sometimes on Twitter, more so over here on Google Hangouts nowadays. And we would love, love, love to see you at our Digital CoLab event in San Diego in June. You can find out more information on that at digitalcolab.com. So with that, we will bid everybody a good evening.
And Erin's buying dinner at Digital CoLab, Mrs. Money Pants.
I might have to throw in drinks too. Shoot. Oh dear, you guys are funny. All right, with that, good night.
Night.